The mockery was about to end, and the galaxy was about to learn that calling humans weak might have been the greatest mistake in galactic history. The hidden truth emerges. 3 weeks after Elena Vasquez departed Earth on her secret mission to the Void Sector, her ship, the Aurora, drifted silently through the dark nebula that had claimed countless vessels over the centuries. The space around her was an eerie mixture of purple gases and absolute darkness, where normal sensors failed and communication with the outside galaxy became impossible. Elena had been following the mysterious signal for 6 days, watching as it grew stronger with each passing hour. Her modified sensors, designed specifically for this mission, showed readings that defied explanation. There was something massive ahead, something that shouldn't exist according to everything humanity knew about physics and space construction. As the Aurora emerged from a particularly dense cloud of cosmic dust, Elena's breath caught in her throat. Before her stretched the most incredible sight she had ever witnessed, a space station so vast it could only be described as a city among the stars. The structure was easily 50 kilometers across, with towering spires that stretched into the darkness and massive ring sections that rotated slowly, creating artificial gravity for what must have been millions of inhabitants. But what struck Elena most was not the size of the station, but its complete invisibility to normal sensors. Her ship's computers couldn't detect it at all. Only her specially modified equipment revealed its presence, and even then, it appeared as little more than a ghost in the darkness. The entire structure seemed to be wrapped in some kind of cloaking field that bent light and energy around it, making it effectively invisible to anyone who didn't know exactly where to look. "This is Captain Elena Vasquez of the Earth vessel Aurora," she transmitted on the emergency frequency. "I'm receiving your beacon signal. Please respond." For several long minutes, there was only silence. Then, a voice crackled through her communications system, speaking in perfect Earth standard with an accent she couldn't quite place. "Captain Vasquez, this is Sanctuary 1 Control. You are cleared for Docking Bay 17. Welcome home. Welcome home." The words sent a chill through Elena's body. How could this place be home when she had never seen it before in her life? As the Aurora was guided by invisible tractor beams toward the massive station, Elena found herself studying the architecture with growing amazement. The design was undeniably human in origin, but it incorporated technologies that shouldn't have existed. The hull materials seemed to shift and change color like living tissue. The docking bays opened without any visible mechanical systems, and the entire structure hummed with an energy that her sensors couldn't identify. The docking process was smoother than anything Elena had experienced, even at Earth's most advanced facilities. As her ship settled into its berth, she saw figures approaching through the transparent aluminum viewports. They were human, but dressed in uniforms unlike anything she had seen before. The fabric seemed to shimmer with its own light, and the design was both practical and elegant in a way that suggested centuries of refinement. Dr. Sarah Chen was the first to greet Elena as she stepped off her ship. Despite sharing a surname with Ambassador Chen Liu, she was clearly not related to Earth's diplomat. This Dr. Chen was tall and graceful, with silver-streaked hair and eyes that seemed to hold depths of knowledge that no human should possess. "Captain Vasquez," she said warmly, extending her hand. "We've been monitoring your mission for some time. We're pleased you found us, though I suspect you have many questions." Elena shook the offered hand, noting that Dr. Chen's grip was surprisingly strong. "I have a few questions, yes, starting with who you are and how long you've been out here." Dr. Chen smiled, an expression that seemed both sad and proud. "I am Dr. Sarah Chen, Chief Science Officer of Sanctuary 1. As for how long we've been here, that's a longer story than you might expect. We've been building this place for 167 years. The number hit Elena like a physical blow. That's impossible. Humanity didn't have faster-than-light travel 167 years ago. We barely had colonies in our own solar system. Officially, yes, Dr. Chen replied. But humanity has always had visionaries who thought beyond the official timeline. Come, Let me show you something that will help explain. The verbal assault continued for another hour. Each species took turns highlighting humanity's perceived weaknesses. They were too emotional, too violent, too short-lived to think in the long terms required for galactic citizenship. Their governments were unstable, their economies primitive, their social structures chaotic. The meeting ended with a formal vote on whether to provide aid to human colonies. The result was unanimous. Motion denied. As Chen gathered his materials and prepared to leave, Caxthor approached him. "Ambassador," the reptilian giant said quietly, "I do not say these things from malice. Your species has potential, but you must understand your place in the galactic order. Humanity is new, unproven, and frankly expendable. Focus on surviving rather than expanding, and perhaps in a few centuries, you might earn a seat at the adult table." The journey back to Earth took 3 weeks aboard the human transport vessel Aurora. Captain Elena Vasquez, a veteran explorer who had volunteered to give the ambassador passage home, found Chen staring out the observation deck's viewport as stars streaked past them in hyperspace. "Rough meeting?" she asked, settling into the chair beside him. Chen laughed bitterly. "They called us children with toys." Caxthor suggested we focus on survival rather than expansion. The vote for aid was unanimous against us. Elena nodded grimly. "I've heard similar things from alien traders I've encountered. They think we're a joke, barely worthy of Federation membership. But they don't know everything about us." "What do you mean?" Elena glanced around the observation deck to ensure they were alone. "I've been exploring the outer rim for 15 years. I've seen things out there that don't match the official star charts. Dead zones in space where no signals come back, energy readings that don't match any known technology. Last month, I detected something in the void sector that shouldn't exist." The void sector was a region of space that every galactic civilization avoided. It was a dark nebula where ships disappeared, communications failed, and sensors went haywire. Even the most advanced alien vessels gave it a wide berth, claiming it was haunted by the ghosts of an ancient war. "What kind of something?" Chen asked. "A signal. Old, but not ancient. Maybe 150 years old. Broadcasting on a frequency that human ships use for emergency beacons, but with encryption I've never seen before. The signal was definitely human in origin, but it came from deep inside the void sector, from coordinates that should be empty space." Chen felt a chill run down his spine. "Have you reported this to Earth Command?" "I tried, but my communications were blocked. Every time I attempted to send the data, it was intercepted and deleted by some kind of security protocol I didn't know existed. It's like someone doesn't want this information reaching Earth." The implications were staggering. If there were humans in the void sector, they had been there for over a century, long before humanity had achieved reliable interstellar travel. But how was that possible? Elena continued, "I'm planning to investigate further once we reach Earth. I've modified my ship's sensors and shielding systems. If there's something out there, I'm going to find it." "That's incredibly dangerous," Chen warned. "The void sector has swallowed entire fleets." "Maybe," Elena replied, her eyes gleaming with determination. "But if there's even a chance that humans have been out there all this time, surviving in conditions that would kill anyone else, then perhaps we're not as weak as the galaxy believes." As they approached Earth, both the ambassador and the captain carried the weight of their species' perceived inadequacy. The galaxy had made its position clear. Humanity was a minor player, barely worthy of notice, certainly not worthy of respect or aid. But Elena's discovery suggested that there might be more to the human story than anyone realized. The Aurora docked at Luna Station 3 days later. As Chen prepared to deliver his disappointing report to the Earth Council, Elena began preparations for what she knew would be the most dangerous mission of her career. She would venture into the void sector alone, following the mysterious signal that suggested humanity's presence in the galaxy was far older and more complex than anyone suspected. Neither of them knew that their actions would soon trigger a chain of events that would shake the very foundations of galactic civilization. The aliens had spent decades mocking humanity's weakness, never suspecting that sometimes the greatest strength comes from being underestimated. Deep in the void sector, something was waiting, something that would prove once and for all that humanity's greatest weapon was not their technology or their military might, but their ability to endure, adapt, and plan for the future in ways that no other species could imagine. The mockery begins. The Great Hall of the Galactic Federation buzzed with the chatter of 12 different species, each speaking in their native tongues, while translation devices hummed softly in the background. Ambassador Chen Liu straightened his formal Earth diplomatic uniform and took a deep breath as he approached the central podium. Around him, representatives from across the galaxy sat in tiers that rose like an ancient amphitheater, their alien features casting strange shadows under the crystalline lighting. At the highest tier sat High Regent Caxthor of the Zenthari Empire, his 4 arms folded across his massive chest, while his reptilian eyes gleamed with what humans might mistake for amusement. To his left, Commander Zephyr of the aquatic Delphine species floated in her specialized water-filled chamber, her translucent fins rippling with barely contained laughter. The other representatives showed similar expressions of thinly veiled contempt. Chen had been Earth's ambassador for 3 years, and in that time, he had grown accustomed to the condescending attitudes of the galactic community. Humanity had only achieved faster-than-light travel 2 centuries ago, making them the newest and supposedly weakest members of the Federation. Their technology was considered primitive, their ships outdated, and their military capabilities laughable compared to empires that had conquered stars for millennia. Honored representatives, Chen began, his voice carrying clearly through the hall's acoustics, I come before you today to request assistance for our outer colonies. The Crimson Tide pirates have attacked 17 human settlements in the past month alone. Our defense forces are spread thin, and we desperately need support. A sound echoed through the chamber that took Chen a moment to recognize. It was laughter. Not the polite, diplomatic chuckling he was used to, but genuine, mocking laughter that seemed to come from every direction at once. High Regent Caxthor stood slowly, his massive frame casting a shadow over the human ambassador. Ambassador Chen, he said, his voice a deep rumble that seemed to vibrate through the floor. You speak of pirates as if they were a galactic threat. These are minor criminals, scavengers who prey on the weak. If humanity cannot defend its own colonies from such petty thieves, perhaps you should reconsider your expansion into space. The laughter grew louder. Commander Zephyr's melodic voice joined the chorus. The Delphine Collective has defended our territories for 3,000 years without once requesting aid from the Federation. Yet humans, with their little metal boxes they call starships, expect us to solve their problems after barely 2 centuries among the stars. Chen felt heat rise in his cheeks, but he maintained his composure. Our ships may seem primitive to you, but they've served us well. We're not asking you to fight our battles, merely to share intelligence or perhaps patrol the trade routes occasionally. Your ships, interrupted a voice from the middle tier, belonging to Ambassador Vex of the Crystalline Shard Collective, are indeed primitive. We have analyzed your technology extensively. Your weapons are projectile-based, your shields are electromagnetic barriers, and your fastest vessels can barely achieve half the speed of our cargo haulers. You are children playing with toys in a galaxy of titans. The criticism stung because it was largely accurate. Earth's technology had advanced rapidly since first contact, but they were still centuries behind the established galactic powers. Human ships were bulky, requiring large crews and massive amounts of fuel for interstellar travel. Their weapons systems were based on kinetic projectiles and energy beams that the alien civilizations had abandoned thousands of years ago in favor of exotic matter manipulation and dimensional warfare. But Chen had not come here to debate technology. Regardless of our technological limitations, he said firmly, human lives are at stake. The Federation Charter speaks of mutual aid and protection for all member species. The Charter, Caxthor replied with a dismissive wave of one of his four hands, also speaks of contributing to the common defense. What has humanity contributed besides requests for help? Your species fights among themselves over resources, while we have achieved interstellar harmony. Your people still die from diseases we cured millennia ago. Your planets are polluted while ours have achieved perfect ecological balance. They walked through corridors that seemed to stretch forever, past observation windows that showed the incredible scope of Sanctuary 1. Elena saw gardens that rivaled Earth's greatest botanical collections, manufacturing facilities that produced technologies she couldn't even identify, and residential areas where thousands of humans lived and worked in apparent harmony. Dr. Chen led her to a vast chamber at the station's heart, where holographic displays showed star maps covering hundreds of light years. At the center of the room stood a man who seemed to command the attention of everyone around him simply by his presence. Captain Vasquez, Dr. Chen said, "I'd like you to meet Admiral Marcus Stone, military commander of Sanctuary 1, and the architect of humanity's true expansion into space." Admiral Stone was an imposing figure, tall and broad-shouldered, with graying hair and eyes that seemed to take in everything at once. When he spoke, his voice carried the authority of someone accustomed to making decisions that affected the lives of millions. "Captain," he said, stepping forward to shake her hand, "welcome to humanity's greatest achievement. You're probably wondering how we built all this without Earth's knowledge." Elena nodded, still struggling to process what she was seeing. The timeline doesn't make sense. The technology doesn't make sense. None of this should be possible. Admiral Stone gestured to the holographic displays surrounding them. "What you're seeing is the result of humanity's greatest secret. We didn't wait for official first contact to begin our expansion into space. When Earth's deep space telescopes first detected signs of galactic civilization 3 centuries ago, a small group of visionaries realized that humanity would need to be prepared for what we might find among the stars." The holographic displays shifted, showing images of early human space exploration. Elena saw ships she didn't recognize, designs that seemed to bridge the gap between Earth's primitive early spacecraft and the advanced vessels that now docked at Sanctuary 1. A secret society of scientists, engineers, and forward-thinking leaders began developing technologies in hidden facilities around the solar system. Admiral Stone continued, "When humanity made official first contact and joined the Galactic Federation, these visionaries realized that we were being judged as weak and primitive. Rather than try to compete openly with civilizations that had thousands of years head start, they decided to take a different approach." Dr. Chen picked up the narrative. "They began building Sanctuary 1 here in the Void Sector, using the natural interference of the nebula to hide their work. Generation after generation of humans have lived and worked here, developing technologies that the galactic community can't even imagine. We've had over a century and a half to study alien technologies, improve upon them, and create innovations that no other species has achieved." Elena's mind raced as she tried to comprehend the implications. So while Earth has been struggling with primitive technology and begging for scraps from the galactic community, there's been an entire hidden civilization of humans developing advanced technologies in secret. "Exactly," Admiral Stone confirmed. "And now, Captain, you're about to see why we've remained hidden for so long." The holographic displays changed again, showing real-time images from across the galaxy. Elena watched in amazement as the scenes unfolded. Human colonies under attack by the Crimson Tide pirates, Earth's pathetic attempts to defend its territories, and the galactic community's continued refusal to provide aid. "The time for hiding is over," Admiral Stone declared. "The galaxy has made it clear that they consider humanity expendable. It's time to show them how wrong they've been." As if responding to his words, the entire station seemed to come alive around them. Elena felt a subtle vibration through the deck plates as massive systems powered up throughout Sanctuary 1. The holographic displays showed the station's true capabilities for the first time. Weapon systems that could disable entire fleets without firing a shot, defensive technologies that made the station completely invisible to any known sensors, and manufacturing capabilities that could produce 1,000 ships in the time it took other civilizations to build one. Dr. Chen touched a control panel, and the displays showed the current pirate attack on the human colony of New Geneva. Admiral Stone has authorized our intervention. For the first time in over a century and a half, Sanctuary 1 will reveal itself to the galaxy. Elena watched in fascination as dozens of sleek ships detached from Sanctuary 1's hidden docking bays. These vessels were unlike anything she had ever seen, seeming to shift and change shape as they moved through space. They were beautiful in a way that suggested perfect harmony between form and function, and they moved with a grace that made even the most advanced alien ships look clumsy by comparison. The Sanctuary 1 fleet reached New Geneva in minutes, covering distances that should have taken hours. Elena watched the tactical displays as the human ships surrounded the pirate fleet with movements so coordinated they seemed to be controlled by a single mind. What happened next defied everything Elena thought she knew about space combat. The Sanctuary 1 ships didn't fire a single weapon. Instead, they simply existed in space around the pirates, and one by one, the enemy vessels simply stopped working. Their engines died, their weapons powered down, their life support systems switched to emergency mode, and their communication systems began broadcasting surrender signals on all frequencies. How? Elena whispered, staring at the displays in amazement. Dr. Chen smiled. We've spent over a century studying every form of technology in the galaxy. We've learned to understand the fundamental principles that govern all mechanical and electronic systems. Our ships don't destroy enemy vessels. They simply convince those vessels' systems to stop functioning. It's far more elegant than brute force, and it ensures that no lives are lost unnecessarily. The implications were staggering. If humanity had developed technology that could disable any enemy without violence, they had effectively made warfare obsolete. Elena watched as the pirate crews were safely transported to holding facilities, while their ships were either destroyed or converted for humanitarian use. But the demonstration wasn't over. Admiral Stone's voice filled the chamber as he addressed not just Elena, but the entire galactic community through communication systems she hadn't known existed. Attention, Galactic Federation. His voice carried clearly across space, reaching every inhabited system simultaneously. For too long, you have dismissed humanity as weak, primitive, and unworthy of respect. You have refused to aid our colonies, mocked our technology, and treated us as children who don't deserve a place among the stars. Today, that ends. Elena watched the holographic displays as the transmission reached every major alien civilization. She saw the shock on alien faces as they realized that the primitive humans they had dismissed had been hiding capabilities far beyond anything they possessed. "We are not your inferiors," Admiral Stone continued. "We are not weak. We have simply been patient. For over a century and a half, we have watched, learned, and prepared. We have developed technologies that you cannot comprehend, achieved unity that you thought impossible, and created solutions to problems that you believed unsolvable." The displays showed alien fleets throughout the galaxy powering up their weapons, preparing for what they assumed would be a human attack. But no attack came. Instead, Sanctuary 1 simply revealed itself. Elena gasped as she felt the station around her change. The cloaking fields that had hidden it for so long simply disappeared, revealing the massive structure in all its glory to the sensors of every ship in the galaxy. The sight was breathtaking. A city among the stars that dwarfed anything the galactic community had ever built, humming with technologies that seemed to bend the very laws of physics. "We do not seek war," Admiral Stone's voice continued. "We seek recognition. We seek respect. And we seek to take our rightful place as equals among the stars. The age of humanity's submission is over. The age of humanity's leadership has begun." Elena realized that she was witnessing the most important moment in human history. The galaxy had spent decades mocking humanity's weakness. never realizing that sometimes the greatest strength comes from being patient enough to plan for the future in ways that no other species could imagine. The mockery was over. The galaxy would never look at humanity the same way again.